Going live. So the question ends up being, well, that's what people are going to see. Mary Lou said she would, she's too short, she would look at 9:30. So if we plug everything in, send a note out that the URL is up and running, and
So today, she would look at 9:30 today.
she said I said we were coming up here today, blah blah blah, and she said,
So
"Oh,
appropriate. I look so much smaller than you, Rick.
Yes. Yeah, what about, yeah, we're gonna play around, right, but what about an angle that shows?
I'm willing to do whatever makes people feel comfortable. I am here to do the text.
Sure.
I mean, my role is essentially make sure the tech works.
Well, you know what I thought yesterday?
not good with
when
the
you guys
word.
were saying, no, who should do it? I thought you should both do it because you don't know if somebody gets sick. You know, for whatever reason, not coronavirus necessarily, but even, you know, you just don't feel well.
Yeah.
Back down, back up.
Yeah, I'm
And
learning.
that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm making sure that we have a knowledge transfer up front, so that the knowledge transfer is in place.
Look at that, that's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I mean,
So Rick, have you tried LVMM Clerk?
no.
Actually, you know what? If we have benches, if someone sits there and someone sits there and someone,
Yeah, you could put something,
Well,
yeah,
look at what it looks like.
it's, I think it's better to have relatively smaller people than one big person
Yes.
and other small people, because we get people like sort of the same.
yeah, people need to be the same relative size because that's, people like balance and symmetry.
I like that.
Everybody likes balance and symmetry.
Yeah, that's good. I like that on the angle there. And it's kind of like nice the way the windows look.
Yes, bringing lighting.
So I believe, Rick, that
Now,
if you bring your computer,
How do we get to this? How do we get to your screen?
oh, I need to send you the URL.
Yeah.
Share,
What?
copy, email, compose, RDAO,
I go send it to Mary Lou.
ML,
Right?
NFL Joyce, add Ted, Donna, Carone, sure. It's giving me suggestions of who to add. So I'm going to add all the people that it's suggesting because apparently it's picking up. Happening now. We'll leave this stream up until about 10 o'clock as we figure out best seating and placement of. Well, I had my ventriloquist dummy up yesterday. I found that the live stream that I did yesterday, okay, incoming. The live stream I did yesterday with the radio in the background, I got 27 copyright claims against it from YouTube. Because it listens and if it.
Oh my gosh, because of the radio.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Wow.
So, you know, that's
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
well, and do I have the microphone on?
It's true.
You know, over time, probably more for Zoom.
don't think that is, that's probably not carbureted, who knows? That's what I'm playing on my cello.
If you are playing it,
And, yeah, right.
then there's nobody who's ever recorded
I can guarantee you I'm not gonna play it.
it. So what I'm seeing here is
I'm not connected, but I am connected.
I talked to Grace yesterday,
Hmm.
and she said, "Would you consider doing a news article?" I said, "Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was intending to do. How does this meeting promote community right now?" And there are going to be 104 different ways.
We're gonna do a sound check. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I have no volume on this, so.
There's like a 3-second delay.
Yeah.
Mhm. I was gonna test, reading something for paper practice or something like that, but that's fine, that's good.
No, voice is really important too. That because whistle is loud and high pitched.
This delay is really cool.
Well, it was very weird the other night when we're on a Zoom meeting and Rick is in his room and I'm in the bedroom and we're on the same Zoom and he says something and I hear it in the room and then, like 2 seconds later, I hear it on
The lighting is fine.
The lighting is great.
This could get quite a few. This could get 25 people.
Can you screenshot that?
No, I don't think I'll read that one.
Can you screenshot that? You got a dark one there.
Well, it starts out, when I was a child, the man who lived next door and who was our landlord tried to rape me. Let us start with that.
This is like the Al-Anon, some of the Al-Anon readings. They're just terrifying. And then they kill.
Oh,
I'm going to go do an audio check out here.
Yeah. It's like John's not here, but he's here. It goes to John. All right, read something. Are you reading?
Yeah.
Well, read it out loud.
making sure, okay. When men and women come to this pass, that they have nothing to rely on but the Lord, then they will meet together to wait upon the Lord. And this was the first ground and motive of our setting of meetings. And I would to God that that was the use that everyone would make of them. Then they would be justly and properly used according to the institution of them at first. We should use them as poor, desolate, helpless people that are broken off from all their own confidence and trust and have nothing to rely on but the mercy and goodness of God. That was Stephen Crisp in 1663.
So when you're here, that's a little large.
Oh, this is nice. And then, faithful babe, though thou stutter and stammer forth a few words in the dread of the Lord, they are accepted. William Dewsbury, 1660. I love faith and practice.
So if we had one person here.
We're only gonna have 4 people.
Yeah, and then somebody here.
And then
And
maybe somebody, well, no.
yeah, that's a little bit too big. That's too big.
What do you mean too big? See, if you sit there, then I have to sit here. Well, yeah, I see you
Yeah.
look too big. Yeah, so sit forward. Or
It's too small now? No, it's not too bad. We're separated by a reasonable amount. So here, here,
there and there.
here, here, here.
We only have 4.
I know, but I'm just
Well,
saying.
unless you want to sit.
Yeah, I think we should sit for here. Huh.
Drop these as place markers for people. So wherever you think people need to be, drop those. Drop these as place markers for people. Rick, I think that where Donna is sitting, the same distance relative to the camera, but like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
That was good because you're both
Yeah.
here. You have the windows. You're somewhat backlit, but you have the light come overhead.
Yeah.
I
Now, it could be much brighter.
Yeah, right, it's true.
can't remember what the weather's going to be. It may not be pretty well.
Yeah.
We're getting some good comments from Sam and Dan. We have, right now, we have 5 viewers, which would be me, you, Dan, Sam, and whoever else.
Very good.
So I think we're doing really well.
Here. No, that's right. That's fine. Angle. Yeah, but these, right in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Placing people where we are demonstrating appropriate social distance
Uh-huh.
and
And having heads and check, rather than one body and the rest heads. So.
right. I mean, we are demonstrating everything about who we are, whether people realize it or not.
Yeah, this is too much body, I think. If the rest are gonna be.
Don't sit in your iPad. I know you won't, but. So that radius, there's your radius.
Right.
And we could probably pull this bench down, this front bench down that way and make a space available a little so that if there are 3 people, it'd be like one where your jacket is and Donna a little over
See,
to
that-
her
this-
left.
This is okay with the body, it's not too much.
No.
Yeah.
And then there's a space for a third person about where the iPad is. And everybody is pretty much. So everybody is kind of sort of balanced. I could let
This
me
is too far back?
look. Well, sit down and you'll see how much smaller you are
Yeah.
than everybody else. And I think
Why is
people
that?
want to see facial expressions too.
It's gonna be a problem. I twitch.
Knit.
I'm not gonna knit. You knit, you crochet.
I'm
don't knit.
not gonna be in front of the camera. I'm gonna be someplace else because this is really about worship and ministry. Unless I am specifically invited by worship and ministry to be in the benches.
Oh, well, you can be. You're
But I
right.
think I'm gonna need to be, if I'm jumping up and running around and doing tech stuff.
I think Rick can sit here and you can be the tech person. He'll be backup, but and don't jump up to help him, although that'd be so realistic because people jump up and leave all the time. That's what we're gonna miss. People going in and out.
Has worship and ministry made any decisions about how long worship will be?
No, I was the only one who suggested half an hour and I put it out in the email and nobody has gotten back to me yet or gotten back to the group. So,
I don't know if you were a participant in the place where I said that my hour and a half or 2 hour master watershed steward training, my camera was off and I was muted, so I got up and I did a couple of things with the volume up so I could hear.
Yeah.
But, just sitting in one spot without reaching around.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I mentioned in my
I think there's a
email
good
was
spot here, John,
that people
over your shoulder.
at home are not gonna sit there for the whole hour. It's gonna be way too much of a temptation to get up and move around. But if they know it's only half an hour, they might be more inclined to just stick with it. I don't know. It's just a thought.
And whoever opens worship could say, whether or not you stay with us, raise your volume so you can hear us, and let's get back together at regular meeting about 10:30 for announcements, so you can hear announcements.
I think that Joyce made it clear that announcements would be at 10:30, meaning that if we're only gonna have a half-hour meeting, we shouldn't start until 10. But I don't know that, we can all talk about it together, but I don't know that I would say up front, and if you're gonna get up and wander around, because we don't want to encourage
Stress the mute.
that.
Well, we can't hear now.
Exactly,
true.
thank you.
That is the
That's the
beauty of
beauty of
starting
one,
out with
yeah.
one-to-many YouTube Live.
Yeah.
We are simply sitting together in this room, and they are watching us. Now, when we conclude this YouTube Live, it'll get saved.
Then we can edit it. And edit out all my twitching.
I deleted the last two that I did, just because there was no need for me to maintain something that, on one hand, was basically just pointing the camera up there and make sure that YouTube Live worked.
Yeah.
And then having a video on YouTube that had 27 copyright claims against it.
Yeah,
This won't have any copyright claims against it. And I think that letting the powers that be at PYM see what we did, even if they fast forward through it, is a really good idea.
sure.
I do not want to be
And
on the bleeding edge,
yeah,
but I do want to show that Lehigh Valley is working to continue to build community.
yeah, Wendy too, Grace and Wendy.
So, it's really pretty straightforward. My goal,
What was that?
I need to turn notifications off, obviously.
The what?
I need to turn notifications off.
Oh, yeah.
Or I don't know, I think I can put myself in do not disturb mode. If I may verbalize my goals, would be to do this at least twice. Do midweek worship with Zoom, committee meetings with Zoom, and then migrate us from YouTube Live to Zoom for meeting for worship. Because that seems to be what people want. People want many to many. They want unprogrammed worship. This does not support unprogrammed worship. And
I think if we're gonna do a Wednesday meeting for worship, we should make sure people are here, because France aren't gonna be here. So,
here in this space,
yeah,
if we're on Zoom, that can be anywhere. And we are, and we're gonna be on lockdown soon.
got it. I see, so the Zoom would not be from the
Correct.
back.
Zoom will be,
Anybody who wants to get invited.
which means that, and again, this may fall to worship minister to
Publicize it.
publicize it and then manage the midweek worship.
We have to look.
And a lot of people aren't going to.
Well,
And
there's a lot of people who are working extra because they're working from home. Joyce, I think, is, like really overwhelmed. I think Corona is too, and Amy is still going to work. So I don't think we should make a blanket statement.
Hang on a sec.
Hello, this is John.
So,
Yes.
I think that, yes, that Wednesday is a scenario to try it.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
so
great.
He gets an email message sent out with the code.
And who would be the invitee? Inviter?
Invitor,
Mhm.
worship administrator can send it out through Joyce's email. And we can establish what the code is. Type of code.
I'm wondering if you're talking like that, if they're hearing you. You think they are?
Speaker?
Yeah,
I don't know, the sound check?
yeah, they're still
Yeah.
watching us.
Yes.
Or maybe they've tuned out because it's gone on too long, so they walked away.
It's a pretty sensitive mic. If we make it a non-private, then anybody can just
You mean for Zoom or
Zoom.
does that mean somebody could bump into it and then say, I think I'll see what this is like, and that would be a little weird. If they wouldn't know anything about what they're getting into.
No, we would have to broadcast the password.
Mm-hmm.
So people could just go on Zoom and join a meeting and then type in the number and then make it. Yeah, we can post that on the website. We can send it out.
The silence gives me time to center, sometimes using a few simple words, sometimes watching the play of sunlight on the floor. In the silence, I may simply go over what needs to be done for the week, or focus on concerns for friends, or worry through a problem. In the silent worship, space is there to hold these all up to God. Other times I am drawn into a sense of awareness, of presence, a place of comfort or instruction or prayer or awe. Marjorie Post Abbott, 1995. Is that it?
Now, remember you were saying how this conversation would pick up at this level?
Yeah. Is that as loud as it gets?
That's as loud as I can get on this.
Oh, uh-huh.
You know, I have an issue.
Yeah.
So that could be heard.
Yeah. That's good. Well, we totally oppose all wars, all preparations for war, all use of weapons and coercion by force, and all military alliances. No end could ever justify such means.
Mhm.
Voila.
What do you think? Do you think this is too unbalanced or like this?
Well, I think it kind of makes a difference that you're in bright yellow and
Yeah.
I'm in dark blue. But, all right.
I think this is better.
I have Joyce on the line, and she is asking and project. Can I ask, Donna, if you're going to read, could you read loudly and project?
Did you hear what I just read?
There's gonna be a lag, and she's talking with me on the phone.
Oh.
So and you may, I think you may want to stand when you read and direct your voice toward the microphone of the computer.
I did. Is she watching?
She's watching now, but she's also talking with me.
I know,
So
but
turn
I
the
did
volume
it.
all the way up.
I did it oh no, but I did it while you were on the phone with her.
Okay, so
So you have to hang up.
give it another shot.
Well, are you on the phone? Sing and rejoice, ye children of the day and of the light. For the Lord is at work in this thick night of darkness that may be felt. And truth doth flourish as the rose, and the lilies do grow among the thorns, and the plants atop of the hills. And upon them the lambs do skip and play, and never heed the tempests nor the storms, floods nor rains, for the seed of Christ is over all and doth reign. And so be of good faith and valiant for the truth can live in the jails.
Donna, could you come to the chair here and repeat or read something different? Because you need to be, she says you're still faint.
It's not going to get any louder than that. If we're sitting here, if we're all sitting here,
If the reader comes forward and uses the chair,
yeah, we're not going to be reading. We're going to be doing a personal message. So, okay, I'm getting up.
okay,
Okay.
wait, get as close as possible so that you can still be seen. Okay.
And then we're going to have to get.
Can't be seen, your head's off the screen.
Well, I'm standing. Oh, I see. I would be standing. Well, then, I don't know that that's much difference. But the catch is we can't love God without loving our neighbor, whoever is next to us at this moment in time. We have to love, really love, with that same love we feel pouring into and loving us.
I am moved by the fact that our community is trying to stay connected through this time of trial.
I mean, if we're going to be closer, I guess we could have chairs right here. We're not going to talk any louder than I just talked.
Right,
And you were not very loud.
and we're trying to demonstrate a certain amount of distance too, so.
Yeah, that's true.
This would be somewhat of a normal talk, but if I really try to project as if I were speaking into a camera, it would be somewhat artificial, but the whole streaming is artificial as well. It's just up and down with the voice. I don't know if how much we could even anticipate vocal ministry, but for the announcements, that could be directed at teacher level, perhaps. John, do you think it's worth exploring the idea of putting a microphone a little bit closer? I don't have a microphone available, but some people might. These are not real cops. These are auditions.
For what?
Auditions
Auditions, oh.
to see what sniffling and coughing.
Somebody for sure is
Sound
going to
like-
cough. We just hope nobody sneezes.
Rustling papers.
No rustling of papers.
Get myself a corduroy pair of pants,
It's only got to be 4 or 5
rain
of us.
jacket, or
Yeah.
a slippery sleeve.
Very funny.
I know my wife. See if any more comments came in. Coughs add to the realism.
Yeah.
Cover your mouth. No microphone needed for me. It sounds fine. Well, I'm right up here now. Something happened from the room.
Well, did it sound fine when I was sitting back here? That's the question. All right, I'm going to try reading one from back here again, and then people can let me know if it's loud enough. We have to be reminded that spirituality is not a separate compartment of life, but life itself. And what is ordinary is the major part of our lives. Ordinariness can be radical. It gets to the root of knowing God in everyday life. All right, we getting any messages on that?
Anything, Samantha? Yes, anything you spoke, even whispering. So Samantha's getting good pickup. Could use a plant or two,
Okay.
or two in the background.
Yeah,
How
I'm not opposed, although there might be some who would be.
about candle?
Yeah, very funny.
No, really.
Hey, here's a question. If these people are, we can read what they're saying right there.
Yeah.
If someone has a message, we could just read it off.
Huh.
It would seem.
Yeah. No, that's something that worship and ministry should talk about, whether they want to take advantage of that. But I thought we decided that we wouldn't. But if you could scroll through those, that is
We
a
had-
possibility.
If we had somebody sitting next to it.
Yeah. Or at the end, she could just take it and scroll.
Right.
See if you can scroll on that.
That sounded fine to me too. I wonder if hanging a quilt on the wall would reduce echoes. It's very echoey in here. It's true. I noticed it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody sits here, they can read them.
That's something-
Someone would have to keep the feed going with a tablet to watch for messages. Well, I'm sitting here and you can't see me, and I can see all of your live chat. So if somebody had a message, they could do it from sitting right next to the computer.
Yeah, but then that's getting into the two-way again, but it could go for announcements, yes.
That is true.
Yeah, I think, well, that's a decision to be made by others, but at least we see the capability
Yeah,
of not having to email in, but just to scroll through comments.
yeah.
And that could be up to, see how many there are. I don't know. Could even be, no, it shouldn't be a decision made on the spot. It should be decided ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's going to be quite a few people trying this out.
Is John saying, say something?
Huh.
I don't know. Say something.
So that was, I think, before.
That was before.
How far along is that?
Well,
Can you scroll that down? How far back can you go? Huh.
oh boy.
So,
Yeah.
someone could go and do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really not awkward, and you can't see the person here
Right,
scrolling.
or the hand.
Yeah.
Well, that's something for worship and ministry and the planners to think about.
Say something is the prompt for people to chat. Thank you, Dan.
This is a useful exercise this morning.
Yeah. Let's see. Christy says, I think that sitting on the front benches makes the most sense. No, Christy, I never sit on the front benches. Maybe you're just experimenting with the benches further back. Part of the problem is if somebody is sitting on the front bench, they look way huger than somebody sitting right behind them.
Much more
Much more
huger.
huger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was what our experiment told us. So I'm going to go and sit behind Rick. Now, of course, he has on a very bright yellow shirt and I have on a navy blue top. So,
let's do this because this is what Sam asked for.
oh, what, straight on?
Yeah, try putting this right here. Or even
So, of course, we could switch, except that I'm the person who doesn't want to sit in the front row. And Rick won't be wearing a bright yellow shirt on Sunday.
Can
What's
we
it say?
do the white wall? Huh.
What
She says straight. Christy says she likes straight on.
What is it? Can we do the white wall? Oh, the white wall. Oh, huh. Interesting.
Yeah. We're taking John's direction.
Well, here, turn it over this way. Let's
Yeah.
just see the difference. Okay, here I am on the white with the white wall background. Yeah, that probably is a little better. It's kind of nice to have those windows in the background, but no, that looks a little too blank. There we would need the quilt on the wall, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's okay.
It made some sense though,
Yeah.
artistically. Yeah, this way you get kind of both. Or you go sit on the dark wall and I'll sit on the white wall.
The windows are nice. Yeah, Donna's right. Too blank. Huh.
What'd you say?
The white wall's too blank.
Yeah, yeah. But if we had both, here, you sit there for a minute. That's not bad.
Not bad, that's balanced.
Somebody just wrote something, and they don't really need to see, let's see, corner view most interesting. I think so too.
Yeah,
I think we have an extra quilt hanger. I'll need to look in the attic. Okay, that's perfect. And they don't really need to see our faces so much as just to know there's people there.
I think so. I think that's the intent. I don't think anybody should expect welcome next year either.
No, it could be. It's chances are, if four people, we're gonna have a very quiet meeting. But you never know. You never know. Who's it? Well, Maggie's very quiet anyway, but she's had messages. I have messages with some regularity. Who else is going to be there? Joyce and Amy. So I'm the only chatty one in the group. And you think you'll be part of the worshiping group? We hadn't originally planned on that, but it seems like it could work fine.
I think that if you've got bodies here anyhow,
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
All right. Where's John and what are we learning now?
I'm learning that this corner view is better than the straight on.
Yeah, we like the corner view too. Oh, and it's cool in here, so I could just put my brightly colored shawl on. How's that?
That is balance.
There.
There's John's balance. Well played, John.
There we go. Well, we'll have 3 other people.
Christy has to leave for a Zoom session.
Of course. I wonder if Mary Lou is on. She hasn't said anything.
No, she's not on that. Oh, well, huh? Live chat. Huh.
Maybe she's not open. No, but she's on an earlier schedule.
No, she's out there. She's still sleeping.
Yeah, you're right. Is this mine?
Yeah. I don't think the piano's a problem. It doesn't show up. Do we want some sort of a prop here? I mean,
I'm I can't listen anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think the vocal ministry is not, in my opinion, not necessarily going to be the highest priority. The announcements, and in that case, Joyce could get close to the microphone if she's going to be reading announcements and messages that have come in. She can certainly get close enough to the microphone, so that shouldn't be a problem, in my opinion.
Well, is Joyce listening?
She hasn't commented here.
Okay, no, I guess her name would be up here. Joyce, is it true that Joyce is not listening in on this? So I just got an email from Joyce and I can email back, but it would be easier to just say it. But she's not chiming in, so, okay. Let me just check again with those who are still listening in. Joyce is asking about people emailing in on Sunday morning and somebody being in charge. Well, Joyce, I am sitting right next to the computer. That's why you're hearing me better. And the question was, I am sitting right next to the computer. You can't see me, and I am reading all of the live chat. So if it seems that would mean that anybody who is logged in and watching could type in a message and somebody could be sitting right here out of sight. They could read it and then they could just say, a friend writes in this. Okay. I understand about earbuds not working properly. So what I'm saying is that somebody doesn't need to be sitting there with a phone. Somebody can be sitting where I am, out of sight, and then can read it. How does that sound? Yeah, I wasn't aware of this chat function either. Okay, so we could have somebody sitting here, and in fact, I am standing now, and that would alert others to know that they were not to give a message, that I'd be, that this person sitting here would be giving the message. Yes, we can see your responses, Joyce. So, I mean, for example, Joyce wrote, yes, the chat function is the way to do this. Definitely. Amy raised the question of the emails, but that was before she was aware of the chat option, I think. So there, I've just read what was typed into the live chat. That's how that would happen. Yes. Is it distracting in any way, Sam? Sam wrote there's a delay in response from audio to you, and it's true. Well, here's the thing. Wait, if everybody who's signed in, are they going to see this live chat? Ooh, sorry, Sam, I don't have a, oh, here, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, hang on. Okay, I think they'd have to turn on. Huh. Well, we could still, like say it out loud for people who might be sitting in and participating, but really kind of being in worship and not watching the live chat. But Sam, I have, it says 10:03 exactly. And I am saying, Dan said, I think it's good to have one person reading the chats so that way they don't step on each other. How did that do? Yeah, interesting. About a minute? It took a minute for my message to come through. So here's a question. Would people see somebody stand and their mouth moving, but they wouldn't hear it for almost a whole minute? Well, I think our watches aren't the same. My iPad now says 10:04. Okay, Dan, what does 20 mean? Okay, good, good. 10:04. Hey, John and Rick, are you listening in? Have you deserted me?
We've had some interesting thoughts.
Yes. This has been very worthwhile. What are your
Yeah.
interesting thoughts? Are you just saying all of these? What?
Well, I was thinking about perhaps people who wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable standing
loud.
up and giving a verbal message might be more comfortable giving a chat because, they're chatty people, people who have been chatting. And John said, well, and I was like, oh, they could be just like going like crazy. He said, is that any different from a popcorn meeting? The same, quote, risk. And who cares? This is something that John said, this is like, if people want community and they want to exchange ideas and thoughts, great, let them go. Who cares if they, and I said, do it wrong. Who cares if they do it wrong?
Yeah, that of course makes me shiver having had that experience. But
What experience?
the experience of going to that workshop that says, say the wrong thing. And sure enough, all you could do was say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
There was no way to do it the right way. But I guess I feel that if you want the community part of it can come if we manage to figure out how to do a query discussion or an ARE session or something like that. But that what we're focused on here for this is worship together. And that's my sense of it. And that the community comes out of our communal worshiping. So
Expectant worship first.
yeah, so you were
second.
saying, who cares? I guess I care.
The message for me is we're still here. We're doing it.
Yes.
It's different.
Well, I
But we're
agree with
doing
that.
it.
Yes. Yes. We can do it wrong. We can absolutely do it wrong. And it's not going to be a disaster. We'll just try it again. That part's fine.
And now, this is ideally only going to be this week and next week with this model, and then we migrate to Zoom and address worship using the Zoom model.
All right, let me
on
read you
Thursday.
what Joyce said. If lots of people start typing in the chat bar, not assuming this will happen, that will be a very different experience of worship, lots of visual and mental distractions. So maybe that's an argument for doing this for 30 minutes with the thought that people can have the other 30 minutes for quiet meditation at home. Friend, being me, speaks my mind. For that worship hour, I'd be looking for something pretty close to silence.
I'm simply the director.
Well,
You're
also
so much
a-
more than that,
You're
John.
also a consumer.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. No, and you're a weighty friend. So, obviously I want to hear what you have to say, but
I've lost 13 pounds.
oh, well, there you go. Uh-oh.
Less waiting for them than they used to be.
Okay. But a live streamed or Zoom-based query eventually would be great. I think so too. I think that would be a real community builder.
If we're thinking about the other 102 or 103 meetings in PYM or elsewhere in the United States, what we are doing is giving people who are not comfortable with Zoom an example of how to create community simply with a computer.
Yeah.
And that is the piece of the puzzle that I think is probably the most important thing that we can do right now is, aside from our own community, is to show how people can gather for worship without having to learn a whole lot of new things in a week.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think we should definitely go forward with this, and there will be mistakes and we'll learn from them.
Yeah, I'm not real crazy on the chat thing, but that's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's just this no idea about how people would use that. But it's important to find out. So
I think Joyce is trying to help us bring this to an end. She said, yes, I agree. And I'm so grateful to you all for this work. That's usually a let's wrap it up kind of statement.
I promised that we'd be on until about 10 o'clock, and it's now 11 minutes past 10, so we'll close up.
Mhm.
And for those of you who are listening and watching from home or from work, thank you for being here. And we will have the live stream up and running at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning for first day worship at time and place determined by worship administrator.
Well, the place is
Well,
here.
the place is here.
Yeah.
The time for start of worship determined by worship administrator in consultation with Joyce.
Sounds great. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay distant.
Stay distant.
Okay, so that, I think we found the angle. So,
Found what?